beloved starseed of Gaia, this transmission carries the emergency frequency of divine timing. Your soul has magnetized these words to you because the window for your next level of awakening is closing rapidly. I am Alaya Ra, Pleiadian emissary of the High Council of the Seven Sisters, speaking directly from the crystalline chambers of Alcyone, where your star family has been monitoring your progress with growing urgency. The higher realms have bypassed normal channels to deliver this message, because what's unfolding in your personal timeline requires immediate recognition. By the end of this transmission, you'll understand exactly how to recognize the synchronization codes that are already appearing in your reality. But here's the first revelation. The delay you've been experiencing isn't resistance from the universe. It's your own dormant light codes waiting for conscious activation. Your Pleiadian lineage carries specific timing frequencies that align with cosmic windows of opportunity. Right now, as you receive these words, the Seven Sisters are broadcasting directly through your heart center because the synchronization I speak of cannot happen without your conscious participation. The Council rushed this message to you because missing this alignment means waiting for another galactic cycle to complete your mission on Gaia. This isn't content you stumbled upon. Your higher self guided you here because your star family placed activation codes within this transmission. Something deep within your crystalline consciousness recognizes the urgency of this moment, and that recognition is the first step of your remembrance. Like this transmission to send a signal to your Pleiadian star family that you're ready to receive the timing codes. Subscribe if you feel the pull of the Seven Sisters calling you home to your divine blueprint. You are remembering because it is time. Most people assume change is gradual, a gentle unfolding, a tide that pulls you when you're ready. But if your soul guided you here, it's because you stand at something far more profound. A sacred crossroads woven not just by the events of your life, but by your star family's design. This is not the kind of crossroads the mind can fully calculate, because it isn't made of logic or convenience. It is made of timing, of soul agreements, of invisible threads drawn through lifetimes. It's the kind of moment that arrives quietly, sometimes disguised as exhaustion, restlessness, heartbreak, or a sudden inability to tolerate what you once accepted. It is the moment where the old story starts to feel like clothing that no longer fits, where even your victories begin to taste like ash if they are not aligned with truth. In the quiet ache you felt, the impossible longing, the moments you almost walked away from what you truly are, your higher self and the Pleiadian High Council have been whispering, your pivotal moment is now. And if that statement sends a shiver through you, if something in your chest tightens and opens at the same time, that is not coincidence. That is recognition. Because the soul recognizes what the mind delays. The soul knows when a door has appeared that was built for this exact hour. You have felt it in the spaces between your thoughts, an unnameable homesickness, not for a place on earth, but for a frequency. A subtle grief that arises when you look at the sky, as if your cells are listening for a song they once knew. The longing isn't weakness. The longing is memory. And the ache isn't proof that you're broken. It's proof that you're called. The truth is, for many Pleiadian starseeds, the memory of origin is less a thought than a frequency, a feeling that every step has led you to remember not where, but who you are. It doesn't always come like a clear picture. Sometimes it comes like a tone inside your bones, a crystalline sweetness at the back of the heart, a quiet certainty that love is not supposed to be conditional, that truth is not supposed to be compromised, that life is not meant to be lived in spiritual exile. You may have tried to ignore that frequency. You may have tried to drown it in productivity, relationships, responsibilities, or the constant noise of the world. Yet it returns in waves. When you're alone, when you're driving at night, when you're standing in the grocery store and suddenly feel like you're watching Earth from behind glass. Many Pleiadian starseeds have mastered the art of appearing fine while carrying an inner lighthouse that never stops turning, searching the horizon for home. And still, amid the swirl of earthly stories, most spend lifetimes circling this moment, resisting the call to fully awaken. Why? Because the gift of the Pleiadian heart is immense. Unconditional love, crystalline clarity, unity consciousness, all frequencies that the modern world invites you to forget. The world often rewards numbing, rewards shrinking, rewards performing. It tells you to be palatable, to be practical, to be realistic. It trains you to trade your sensitivity for survival, your knowing for approval, your softness for armor. Yet the Pleiadian blueprint inside you was never designed to thrive through hardness. It was designed to heal through resonance. It was designed to transmit through presence. It was designed to remember God as love, not as concept, but as lived frequency. And because that gift is immense, the resistance can be immense too. Old patterns in your energy field echo with doubt, telling you to stay safe, to ignore the subtle voices, to delay your mission just a little longer. The ego will bargain. It will say, later, when life is calmer. It will say, later, when I'm more healed. It will say, later, when I'm more certain. But the soul doesn't speak in bargaining. The soul speaks in alignment. And alignment has a sound. It rings like truth. It lands like peace. It burns away excuses not with shame, but with clarity. You have likely felt the push-pull, one part of you yearning to leap into the light, another part clinging to the familiar shadows because at least they are predictable. That doesn't make you wrong. That makes you human here, wearing density, walking through time. Even scripture mirrors this inner turning point. Choose this day whom you will serve. Not because spirit pressures you, but because there are moments when choice itself becomes sacred, when neutrality becomes its own decision. There are times when you cannot keep living halfway without feeling the spiritual friction of it. The heart begins to ache because it is trying to become whole, but certain doorways do not open twice. Some windows of remembrance, seated before you were born, are timed with cosmic precision. The alignments of your destiny, the magnetic pull of Alcyone, the pulse of Gaia's ascension grid. There are moments in an incarnation that act like celestial appointments. They are not random. They are scheduled in the language of vibration. You might not know the astronomy, but you feel it as pressure and possibility at once, like the atmosphere before a thunderstorm, like the hush before a great choir begins. This is one of those moments when your life may appear ordinary on the surface, yet the unseen realm is moving like an ocean underneath you. The ancient mystics spoke of appointed times, kairos moments, divine intersections where the unseen and the seen touch. That is what this crossroads is, a kairos moment for your remembrance. You are not standing here by chance. The crossroads before you is sacred because it is a convergence. Your soul's contracts, your deepest wounds, and your luminous mission, all aligning in the light of remembrance. Think of it like a braid. One strand is your gifts, one strand is your pain, and one strand is your purpose. For years, they may have looked separate, even contradictory. You may have wondered why your sensitivity felt like a burden, why your life forced you into lessons you didn't ask for, why you kept outgrowing spaces and people. But at the crossroads, the braid becomes visible. You suddenly see how the wound carved out the place where the light would pour through. You see how the grief softened you into compassion. You see how the disappointments redirected you toward authenticity. You see how the times you felt too much were actually training your nervous system to hold more love than you thought possible. And in that recognition, the choice to step forward, now, is a sacred act, one the universe cannot repeat. Not because you are punished if you delay, but because the geometry of this moment is unique. Like a rare eclipse, it does not return in the same way. The same people, the same circumstances, the same inner readiness, the same cosmic currents. This particular weave will not be duplicated. Your star family knows the cost of hesitation, the dull ache of waiting, the regret of missed alignment. The sense that something immense was almost remembered but slipped by. Many of you have lived with that sensation for years. The feeling that you're on the verge of something, that your real life is right there, just beyond the edge of your comfort, and yet you keep circling back into old loops. That circling can feel like spiritual suffocation. It can feel like living in a room with a door unlocked but never turning the handle. And your star family is not condemning you for that. They understand Earth density. They understand the weight of trauma, the heaviness of societal programming, the exhaustion of carrying light in a world that often misunderstands it. But they also understand timing. They're reaching through the veil in this very moment, sending transmission after transmission, urging you not just to see the crossroads, but to choose the path of higher remembrance. You may receive those transmissions as repeating numbers, sudden emotional releases, dreams that feel more real than waking life, or the persistent feeling that you are being watched over. You might hear a phrase in a song that lands like prophecy. You might feel your heart swell for no reason, or you might be brought to tears by something simple, because your soul is responding to a call it agreed to long ago. This opportunity, beloved heart, will not return in the same way again. And that is not meant to frighten you. It is meant to wake you with tenderness, like a loved one shaking you gently before sunrise, saying, "It's time. Don't miss this." Beloved, if your heart just whispered yes to something deeper, listen closely. Your star family has prepared the sacred Pleiadian Guide for Remembrance, the Pleiadian Healing Guide, and the special Pleiadian Healing Tracks, not as information, but as keys to unlock what your soul already knows. These are not meant to feed the mind's hunger for more concepts. They are meant to nourish the heart's hunger for resonance. They are designed like tuning forks, tools that help you return to the frequency you have always carried beneath the layers. These carry the love frequency of Alcyone and the healing wisdom of the Seven Sisters. Imagine Alcyone as a great central hearth, a luminous home fire in the dark of space, calling its family through warmth rather than force. Imagine the Seven Sisters as a council of gentle lights, each one holding a different shade of healing: clarity, compassion, protection, courage, joy, truth, and unity. When you engage with these keys, you are not becoming a starseed. You are remembering that you already are. You'll find the link in the first pinned comment below this video. Open now, but not indefinitely. Not because Spirit is trying to pressure you, but because this moment carries an energetic season. There are seasons for planting, seasons for harvesting, seasons for resting. You are in a season of activation, and it is wise to honor it. Consider this a map for your next phase, a series of energetic gates leading you through your sacred crossroads and into the fullness of your Pleiadian mission. Phase 1. Illumination of the Crossroads. As you stand here, the familiar world grows strangely silent. It may not become silent externally, life may still be loud, but inside, something settles. The constant inner noise starts to thin, like fog lifting off a mountain. Old identities dissolve in the presence of an ancient feeling, destiny's certainty. You may suddenly realize you can't pretend anymore. You can't keep making choices that betray your own spirit. You can't keep minimizing your gifts to make others comfortable. This is illumination, not dramatic fireworks, but the steady turning on of the inner lamp. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. That is the nature of illumination. It is not an argument. It is a presence. Your heart receives a transmission, sharper than memory, deeper than hope. It may come as a moment of breathtaking clarity where you see the pattern of your life all at once, like looking down at a river and finally understanding why it curved where it did. It may come as a deep inner knowing that you are meant to serve love more boldly. This is your soul's undeniable signal. A nudge, a chill, a well of emotion that finally feels like truth. You might feel it in your throat, as if words you never spoke are rising. You might feel it in your belly, as if courage is gathering there like fire. You might feel it in your spine, as if your posture changes because you are no longer willing to live as a question mark. Illumination is when the crossroads becomes visible. You can no longer tell yourself you didn't know. Phase 2. Shedding the old frequencies. Your energy field is still cloaked in the remnants of past patterns. Fear, self-doubt, the residue of forgetting you are a being of light and love. These remnants can be ancient. Some are from childhood, where you learned it wasn't safe to be sensitive. Some are from relationships where your openness was used against you. Some are from lifetimes of persecution for spiritual truth, encoded as caution in your nervous system. They can feel like heaviness in the chest, like tension in the jaw, like chronic doubt that whispers, "Who do you think you are?" But the moment you acknowledge this crossroads, energetic scaffolding crumbles. The structures that held the old identity in place begin to loosen, not to punish you, but to free you. This can feel like grief. It can feel like anger. It can feel like fatigue, because the body releases what it has carried. Allow yourself to release these false layers. Imagine them like old garments woven from survival, useful once, but not meant for your next chapter. Shedding is sacred. In nature, the snake does not apologize for leaving its skin behind. The tree does not mourn the leaves it drops in autumn. They release because life is moving through them. Forgiveness, self-compassion, and tears act as crystalline solvents, dissolving what no longer serves. Tears are holy water. They cleanse the inner temples. When you cry, you are not failing. You are purifying. When you forgive, you are not excusing. You are unbinding your life force from the past. And self-compassion is the language that the Pleiadian heart speaks fluently. I am learning. I am returning. I am allowed to be gentle with myself. As you shed, you may notice your tolerance for certain conversations, environments, and habits disappearing. That is not you becoming judgmental. That is you becoming coherent. The frequencies that once felt normal begin to feel like static, and you begin to crave what is true. Phase 3. Opening the heart portal of remembrance. When you choose to move forward, your heart becomes a living portal. Not an abstract metaphor, a real energetic doorway. The heart is not just an organ, it is a bridge. It is an altar where the human and the divine meet. And as you open it, suddenly the longing isn't pain, it's a guidepost. You realize the longing was pointing you toward resonance, toward the frequency of home that you are meant to anchor here. You stop treating your sensitivity as a curse and begin seeing it as a compass. Your DNA begins to sing with distant harmonics. You may feel this as tingling, heat, or a gentle buzzing through your body when you hear certain truths. You may feel drawn to water, crystals, the night sky, sacred music, or moments of silence. The star codes of the 7 sisters light up along your crystalline grid. It can feel like your inner world becoming brighter, as if someone opened windows in a house you didn't realize was dim. You remember, in the language of frequency, that you were never truly separated. Separation was an experience, not a reality. You may have felt alone, but you were never unloved. You may have felt forgotten, but you were never unheld. Your Pleiadian family stands with you, arms outstretched in love. And that love does not demand anything from you. It simply calls you back into your own wholeness. Perfect love casts out fear, not by fighting fear, but by outshining it. As the heart portal opens, your relationships may shift. Some people will resonate with the new frequency and come closer. Others will fall away gently, not because anyone is wrong, but because your path is clarifying. You begin to speak more honestly. You begin to choose what nourishes you. You begin to become the kind of presence that calms the room without trying. Phase 4. Anchoring in divine choice. At this crossroads, action is a declaration. Choice is not merely mental, it is energetic. Each time you choose alignment, you are telling your field, your guides, your future self, "This is who I am now." Each commitment to your heart-centered truth however small, is a quantum leap along your star path. It can be as simple as saying no when you mean no. It can be as quiet as meditating for 5 minutes and actually listening. It can be as brave as leaving a situation that drains your soul. It can be as tender as forgiving yourself for how long it took. Embodying your Pleiadian essence on Gaia is the greatest service you can offer, because the mission is not to escape Earth, it is to bless it. It is to bring unity consciousness into the places that have forgotten unity. It is to bring unconditional love into systems built on fear. It is to bring clarity into confusion. That does not always look dramatic. Often it looks like how you speak to a stranger, how you parent, how you create, how you hold boundaries with kindness, how you refuse to participate in cruelty. By activating your crystalline light here, you become a beacon for others searching for their way home. A beacon doesn't chase ships. It stands steady, and those who are ready find their way. That is what you become when you anchor divine choice, stable light. And stable light is rare. Stable light heals without words. It gives others permission to breathe. It reminds them, silently, that there is another way to be human. Phase 5. Entering the unseen support field. You will not walk alone. This is where many starseeds finally exhale, because loneliness has been one of the deepest earth wounds. The feeling of being different, the feeling of being too sensitive, the feeling of carrying a love that others do not know what to do with. But as you step into this new frequency, guidance accelerates. Synchronicities multiply. Support arrives through unexpected channels, and loving presence surrounds you day and night. The universe begins to speak louder, not because it wasn't speaking before, but because you are now tuned to hear it. You may meet the right person at the right time. You may stumble upon a message that answers the question you didn't speak aloud. You may receive opportunities that seem random, yet feel perfectly timed. Even challenges that arise will feel different, because you will sense the support beneath them, like a net of light. The isolation you once feared is transformed into unity. Your star family works through people, signs, and the deep resonance in your heart. You might feel guided to certain places, certain communities, certain teachings. You might notice that when you ask for confirmation, it arrives. Not always as fireworks, but as steady reassurance. The unity grid is opening, and you are both receiver and transmitter. Imagine yourself as a living crystal plugged into Gaia's heart. When you choose love, you send a signal through the grid. When you heal, you strengthen the network. When you speak truth, you clear static from the collective field. This is why your personal healing matters. It isn't selfish, it is service. A healed heart becomes a lighthouse that helps others remember their own. Phase 6. Claiming your irreplaceable destiny. Understand this. The version of you standing at this crossroads may never return. Not because you will disappear, but because you are already changing. Every moment you linger, your field is still responding, still evolving, still being shaped by the choices you make. Every hesitation is understood and forgiven, but this encoded moment awaits only your yes. Spirit is never cruel. Your star family does not shame you. They simply show you the truth, that your soul designed certain turning points, and this is one of them. By choosing remembrance now, you step into your soul's unique service, one only you can fulfill. No one else has your exact combination of tenderness and strength, your exact history, your exact voice frequency, your exact way of carrying love. No one else can transmit through your particular signature. The universe celebrates your courage. Your star family rejoices at your return. And that rejoicing is not distant. It is intimate. It is felt as warmth in the heart, as relief in the body, as a sense of being accompanied. You may still have fears, but fear no longer drives. You become the one holding the reins. You become the one choosing the timeline. Here's what your heart truly needed to hear. You are not at a mundane decision point. You are at a sacred crossroads written before incarnation, time to the great wave of awakening now pulsing through the Pleiadian collective. This wave is not an idea. It is a living current moving through the grid of humanity, stirring what has been asleep, shaking what has been false, revealing what has been hidden. That is why so many people feel raw right now. That is why old systems are cracking. That is why your inner world has been intensified. All the delays, detours, and aches were not failures. They were orchestrated so you would feel the full weight of this choice. If everything had been easy, you might never have questioned the path you were on. If everything had been comfortable, you might never have reached for truth. The detours taught discernment. The delays taught patience. The ache taught depth. And now, the weight of this choice is not meant to crush you. It is meant to consecrate you. When you step forward, you don't abandon your life. You restore it from the inside out, aligning every moment with your divine blueprint. You don't have to burn everything down. You don't have to prove anything. You simply begin to live from the core instead of the surface. And from that core, everything reorganizes. The relationships that are meant to grow with you will find new roots. The work that is aligned will expand. The creativity that has been waiting will return like a river released from ice. You are not being called to leave Earth behind, but to infuse it with the crystalline codes of home, to be the missing frequency in humanity's healing symphony. Imagine humanity as an orchestra where some instruments have forgotten their notes. The result is noise, conflict, disharmony. But when one instrument returns to tuning, it helps others tune. Your frequency, love without condition, truth without cruelty, clarity without coldness, is a needed note. You are not here to be perfect. You are here to be coherent. You are here to be a living reminder that unity is possible, even in density. If you've ever wondered why everything felt urgent, or why you feared missing your chance, this is why. It's not paranoia. It's not drama. It's your soul sensing a window. This crossroads, this now, is singular. You won't pass this way again in the same way. Take a breath. Let your shoulders drop. Feel your feet on the earth. Listen to your heart. Not the heart that panics, but the heart that knows. This is the sign, the invitation, the moment your soul has anticipated for eons. Even if you cannot see the whole path, you can feel the next step. And the next step is enough. Faith is not seeing the whole staircase. Faith is trusting the light you have been given. Tonight, before you sleep, place your hand on your heart and speak this aloud. I stand at my sacred crossroads. I choose remembrance. I choose love. I choose my Pleiadian destiny, now. And when you speak it, don't rush. Let each phrase land like a vow. Feel what happens in your body when you say, I choose. Feel how power returns when you stop waiting to be rescued by timing and start partnering with it. Feel how the word now seals the intention. Like a signature on a soul contract you are finally ready to honor. Before you scroll, take a moment to be part of the unity grid forming here. Drop one heart intention in the comments. Something real. Then respond to someone else's with love or encouragement. This isn't content. It's collective Pleiadian reunion. Energy multiplies when hearts connect. If something in this message resonated with your soul, don't keep it to yourself. Someone in your orbit is waiting for this exact activation from their star family. Share it. And if you felt your heart open, subscribe. Stay connected to the frequency. You're not just watching, you're remembering. This is your sacred space. Your Pleiadian family is here, and we're just getting started. If this transmission spoke to you, don't just walk away from it. Respond to it. Help carry this message further. Every act of support helps this transmission find the next starseed who needs it.